Hello, my dear audiences. Welcome to the show. You know me, Jack Chow, the host of this show, East West. And of course, I know you a lot. And by the way, thank you for your notes, all of those of you who wrote to me with the Happy New Year wish. Oh, even on my birthday, with my birthday wish for you, for all of you, here's my appreciation. Thank you very much for being my audiences. I love you so much. That's why I work so hard in reciprocation to make your time worthwhile. All right? So now, thanks to the beautiful democratic system, and with this beautiful flag that stands for democracy, every now and then, 2 years, 4 years, we have election. Election means that we need to always keep an eye on who are the best for the job. We keep refreshing our people on the job to make sure we get the best service we can. So is the system of everywhere, and so is the system in our judicial circle, in all the legal system, justice system, and so that we make sure law is really 100% carried and justice is 100% served. Today joining me is a big person. When I say big, is that I mean exactly because he has got a very big history of experiences on the job. He is running as a candidate for the Superior Court of the County of Los Angeles, and he's now holding the position as a Deputy DA of the District of Los Angeles County.
Yes.
That's Mr. Javier Perez. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Very good. I'm so glad that you're here. I know you have a very busy schedule. I tried many times to call your office and your secretary, assistant, say, maybe next week. I know now. Let's do it. Finally, we get together, right?
Yes.
So, all right.
And I appreciate the opportunity, sir.
And to save your time, normally I talk like a machine. But to save your time this time, I regulate myself to questions.
Okay.
All right? No more whatever, right? Okay. So let's do question one by one. My question number one. Election every time, I always ask people, the candidates, especially the newcomers, how much do you know about your area? By that I mean it's people, it's land, it's money, it's whatever. In your case, by reading your bio, I know I can skip to 2 points. Number one, your experiences. Number two, your ideology, because your 25 years says everything, right? So now, jump on question number one. Take a few moments, please, to let my audiences know a little background about yourself, especially your education, your work experiences, please.
Yes. Well, I'm the son of immigrants. My parents are from Mexico. They immigrated here prior to my being born and my brother's being born. I was born and raised in Montebello, California. Mm-hmm. I went to UCLA undergrad and Whittier Law School. After I graduated from Whittier Law School and passed the bar, I became employed as a deputy district attorney in the County of Los Angeles. I've been a deputy district attorney for over 25 years. I've held several different positions within the office. I've worked throughout the County of Los Angeles. I've worked in El Monte, West Covina, Pomona, Norwalk, Whittier, Downey, Bellflower, downtown Los Angeles. I've tried every type of case.
You must be looking at the map of Los Angeles.
In essence, yes.
Everywhere, right?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Go ahead.
I've tried every different type of case, from murder to sex crimes against children, women, DUIs, domestic violence. I was assigned to major narcotics for 3 years. For the last 6 years, I was a deputy in charge of the East LA District Attorney's Office, which means I was the supervising district attorney in that court for 3 years in East Los Angeles, which encompassed East Los Angeles, Montebello, and City of Commerce and surrounding neighborhoods. For the last 3 years, I've been the deputy in charge of the West Covina Courthouse. The West Covina Courthouse, there are over 13 different agencies that file there. It goes from Glendora, San Dimas, Walnut, Roland Heights, Diamond Bar, Irwindale, Covina, West Covina, La Puente, City of Industry, and all those different agencies. West Covina is the busiest area court in Los Angeles County. I supervise 12 attorneys, and there is support staff. That's just a little bit about myself.
All right, all right. And of course, we start to see somebody who has a vast area of opportunities to train himself and also to accumulate experiences from over the 25 years, right?
Yes.
And also, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm a man of no legal background. I know nothing about law to law, whatever, right? So they say when the U.S. law is based upon a jury court system, members are randomly taken from people of no law background, of any, and the judge is only, probably in my term, a referee who blows the wheels like that, and coordinator of the argument. So what makes it different is the prosecutors, right? So they are the one to decide they should go ahead prosecute or not to. They should drop or raise whatever. So that important job you dealt with for 25 years from starting till now. So in those 25 years, what were the cases that you feel that you were most proud of yourself?
It's a very difficult question because through each stage of my career, each case is important to me. There are certain cases that I reflect. I go and do career days at schools, at middle schools and high schools, and people ask me that question, what cases stand out for you? I do remember many years ago when I was in Norwalk and I prosecuted a defendant who abused his stepson. And the stepson turned out to be a little bit over a year, and the baby was crying, and he put a hot iron on him in order to make him quiet. It struck me emotionally. I was so sad for the child, and it was difficult because the mother came to me and described to me or pleaded with me and the detective not to prosecute the perpetrator, the stepfather of the child, because she needed his income and needed him home and not in prison. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to support herself and her child. We urged her about the importance of seeking justice for her son and protecting her son. She came to realize that just because somebody has some financial means of controlling you, that you shouldn't allow that person to abuse your child. That was very gratifying that she came around and understood the importance of proceeding on that case.
Oh, excellent, excellent. You know, that case might stand for those typical abuse cases, financial abuse cases. Lots of women suffer from.
Yes.
Because you're my fiance, you're my husband, you're my partner, whoever. You have the source of income that I rely upon.
Yes.
So that you can, it gives you the right or whatever to abuse me. So if you did it the other way, though, you will probably regret, because that might have led to a wrong direction. Am I right?
Yes. It's important that bullying takes place at a young age, and bullying takes place at older ages.
You're right.
In the younger stages in school, people rely on strength alone to bully others. That's not right. And as people get older, they use other means of bullying people. Sometimes it's a financial means of bullying people. I make more money than you, I pay all the bills, and consequently they take advantage of that situation. It is incumbent upon the DA not to let that happen, that if somebody commits a criminal act against the victim.
A sober mind.
Yes.
And right, sober mind, so determined to protect what's the best benefit to the people you represent. Right?
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong. And there's always a saying that it is different from murder cases because in that which who kills who, under what circumstances, using what kind of weapons, that's it, right? And then you apply your technical analysis, everything, scientific evidence in it. That's one thing, that's more technical. In this kind of case, like the case you described, lots of conceptual stuff in it. So that sounds, lots of people say those cases are more difficult to deal with rather than a murder case. Do you agree with that saying?
Well, I think it requires more finesse sometimes in dealing with a mother in that situation who still is in charge of taking care of a victim. But it is difficult emotionally on a murder case dealing with the victim's family.
You're right.
That is very difficult because they've lost a loved one through no fault of theirs, and they're dealing with grief, and so they require a lot of sympathy and empathy as well.
Either way, it's a tough job.
It isn't easy sometimes.
Either way, right?
Yes.
I thought one is either than the other. So, as a matter of fact, they're equally difficult.
Yes,
they're equally complicated.
Yes,
right?
they each present their issues.
All right, very good. A difficult job. For the difficult job, my friend Javier, Mr. Javier Perez, put it that way, has been doing for 25 years, and he is out of DA office of Los Angeles County. He is the deputy of DA in charge of that whole office of 12 attorneys.
There are 12 attorneys.
12 attorneys, and he is now sharing his views with you, and he is running for the judge position of Los Angeles County Superior Court.
Yes.
Right. So let's take a very short moment out. We come back, we'll touch your ideology. How about that?
That sounds good.
All right, good. We'll be right back. Hello, my dear folks. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West Show. Today, joining me is my good friend Javier Perez, and District Attorney, Deputy District Attorney in charge of Los Angeles County District, Judicial District. He's running for the very hopeful for the judge position of Los Angeles County Superior Court. So once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Mr. Perez has 25 years of experiences doing the job. The job, like I said, I confirmed to be a very complicated, hard job, because you have always to keep yourself a sober-minded judge or whatever, right? Anyway, so during the 25 years, in addition to do your job, do you have any involvement in the professional circle of other, say any associations?
Yes, I've been a member of the California District Attorneys Association, the Mexican American Bar Association, the Latino Prosecutors Association. I was one of the founding members, and I used to serve on the board in the Latino Prosecutors Association, the Latino Peace Association.
Oh yeah. I know quite a few.
And
I know Mr. Joe Garner, right?
Yes.
He was one. Okay.
And I've the California Narcotics Officers Association. I've served in different associations. In addition to that, I'm not just a person who focuses on my work. I've also, in terms of trying to help my community, I'm on the advisory board of the Hollenbeck Youth Center, which is a youth center in East Los Angeles and Boyle Heights that helps the youth stay out of trouble by providing them an outlet, sports, boxing, basketball, educational. We provide computers for them. There's a library with computers where they can do their homework and do some research. so that they don't get into trouble. I used to participate in something called the Puente Project when I was in Norwalk, which is a student mentoring students in high school.
I see. All
So
right,
I've-
good.
I've
That's a
done
lot
other
of
things.
involvement in addition to doing your job. Right?
Yes.
Well, very good. And let me move on to to touch your ideology, right? As an attorney, as a DA, district attorney, and especially district attorney in charge,
Yes.
it gets better and better and better,
Yeah.
right? So you represent the people. We know that, right? In your take, in order to do a good job, what do you think are the most important elements one has to have in order to do that job, in addition to knowing laws from head to toe? Of course, a person like myself can't be one because I do not know laws.
Yes.
And somebody who knows laws from head to toe might not qualify because there is something else. So what are these something else as the most important elements in order to do a better job?
Okay. A district attorney's mission is to seek justice. So a good DA, in addition to being a good trial DA and being able to convince people in trial of their position and knowing the law, one always has to strive and have a sense of justice and fairness. I do that on a consistent basis every day. I need to have perspective. I have to have life experiences. I have to be able to relate to not only of members of the community, the victim, the defendant's plight, his record, his lack of record. It's perspective and justice. That is an essential component to being a person, a DA, and specifically the deputy in charge. I sometimes have to make very difficult decisions, but it's always but it's always done with the idea that I'm doing the right thing, the fair thing, the just thing. And I have many young DAs who I supervise, and I impart that sense of justice, that goal, that ideology of our mission is to seek justice on every case. That sometimes that is a very difficult decision thinking process. I walk through these particular cases with these young DAs as to why a particular offer is the right offer as opposed to a different offer. So I believe a sense of justice and fairness is an essential component of being a good DA.
That I appreciate 100%, sir. But on the other side of the coin, though, you're talking about the jail alignment. Even though you guys went ahead, charged this guy and convicted him and got the sentence for 10 years, and he served about 20%, 50% of his time or her time and released on the street. So how would we justify our system, our justice system?
We're not speaking
about both ends.
We're not speaking specifically about one case, general, right?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes jail isn't the right resolution. Sometimes it's community service. Sometimes it's an anger management program.
Right.
Sometimes it's trying to get, if someone is hooked on alcohol or drugs or something, it's trying to get them into a program so that they don't reoffend. Part of justice sometimes is punishment. Sometimes it is jail. Oftentimes it is jail, but not all the time. When it requires jail, justice requires a punishment of jail or prison, then they need to go to jail or prison. How much time they spend in jail or prison is not a decision made by the DA's office. How much time they actually spend in prison is decided by the legislature, the Department of Corrections, or the local sheriff's department when they are released.
How about that? If I say that your job is at the door to make sure good guys are separated from bad guys, and then bad guys are accused, right? And they're charged and convicted. And then as how to apply the law to get them punished for what they have committed, it belongs to the other department. How about that?
No. Okay, what the punishment is, what the sentence is, that is decided in court. I thought you were talking about when they are released. That we can't. That the DA.
That is also important. Yeah.
It is important.
Very important.
But as a DA, I can't control when they're released, right? That's dependent on the legislature and the Department of Corrections and jail.
All right.
But when they're released, if we agree to a particular sentence, the expectation is that they're going to serve that sentence.
All right.
If they're released before then that's not up to the district attorney's office.
All right, good. That's exactly the point, right?
Right.
So I really like your comment, and I like the way you're weighing the two jobs, and sounds like an education to me, and I appreciate the opportunity of touching this subject because it's a school to me, like I said 1 million times. Now, there's a saying. There is a spirit of law, there's the text of the law. The spirit and text. As a DA in charge, how do you either define, value, and deal with the two, please?
The text of the law, when you become a DA, you take an oath to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the state. So the text of the law is important. We can't ignore it. This is what the law is, and I took an oath to uphold that. However, as DAs, we have discretion as to what charges to plead to, what the sentence is going to be. That is where you take into consideration what you were alluded to as the spirit of the law. That's where the sense of justice and fairness comes into play. That's when you start thinking, okay, this is what the text says, but what is the purpose behind this text? What is the punishment? How can we implement the spirit of the law through the text of the law, right? And that's where the perspective and sense of justice comes in.
Exactly. And the reason I'm asking this question is because of a story of a former New York Mayor, LaGuardia. And he was at court one time and charging an old lady who stole some bread. And for that she was punished. And in her defense, she says that I had to do it because my grandson was suffering and from hunger, and I can't let him die, right? And then the judge went ahead and sentenced her for whatever fine that was. There stood the mayor saying, "Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I agree with the judgment. I agree with the charge and everything with the sentence. Now I need you a donation for 50 cents each, all right?" And he donated himself, and he says exactly, the text says the law that she stole the bread. She needs to be punished. As a mayor, I say we feel as a society to protect an old lady from not stealing, from stealing. Make sure that, so under my government, that people had to steal to feed their grandsons. So that's not punishment. So it says the text of the law, the spirit of the law. The spirit of the law made me, here's my apology as a mayor. The text of the law, Judge, you're doing a good job. So does that explain the relationship between?
I can understand that. In that situation, I'm not sure I would have.
Or totally fake story?
Under that situation, I'm not sure as the deputy in charge, I would have filed that case against her. I would have understood that we are seeking justice. Having a person, a grandmother, who otherwise has no record, who stole a loaf of bread in order to feed her grandchild, who otherwise would not have money, food on their table. I'm not sure the right thing to do in that instance would be to have her suffer a conviction, which may lead to other collateral consequences, right? I don't know how that impacts her ability to gain employment or other things. In a vacuum, I would take those things into consideration. Is it the right thing to do to have her suffer a conviction?
All right, sir. I really to have give you a big applause for that, because that's exactly what I was prepared to ask the next segment.
Oh,
so thank you for having that kind of brain.
Okay.
All right, my audience is with me today is my good friend Javier Perez, a candidate for Los Angeles Superior Court judge position, And I'm sharing his ideology with my audiences. And let's take a very short moment out. When we come back, we'll touch how exactly he can apply what he just explained into his practice once taking the seat. All right? So stay with us. Be right back. Hello, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, my dear fellow Americans, my dear fellow Angelinos. Welcome back. It is a moment for us to choose somebody who will be sitting there as the judge for the Los Angeles County Superior Court to say, okay, you're right, you're not right, something like that. Okay, that's not the language to describe a judge's job, but for a person who has no legal background, allowing me to say that. However, it is an opportunity for me to learn, and I do take every moment of doing the job as an opportunity of learning. With my friend Javier Perez, I'm learning a lot now. Just now, I took the New York former mayor story to exemplify how we shall deal with our system. Number one, we got a justice to deal with. Number two, we got a textbook to read. A law book to read. Number three, we have a law spread in there, right? I really appreciate his answer. Mr. Perez mentioned that if he had been the prosecutor, he will not even prosecute the whole thing because the grandma deserves a fair share of her life the society did not provide. Anyway, that exactly leads to my next question. I read your bio on your website. Oh, by the way, there's a big story about himself. Just put a name in and you will find it. And later I will check with you about your website address, so on and so forth. You mentioned on your website that you are a firm believer of protecting and improving our legal system. Would you let us know your definition of protecting and improving, especially improving?
Okay.
Please.
I've spent 25 years seeking justice from the position of an advocate, right? I'm the prosecutor. I go to court oftentimes, and there's a defense attorney also acting as an advocate. And I'm seeking justice for the community, for a victim, for the defendant, from the position of an advocate, somebody who argues. It is time now for me to move on to a different role in that justice system. There are two advocates and there's a judge. I am now going to be seeking the position of a judge and ensuring that the people who come into that court, every one of them, receives a fair day in court, a fair trial, a fair sentencing, a fair pretrial, and that they feel that the court system is there for them, not to work against them. I think the message that a judge can give is to ensure that that happens, that the laws are there to protect people, not to suppress them.
All right. Okay.
If that message is made in one court and then the next and then the next, and people feel a sense of trust about the court system, we are improving the court system. I also believe that there's a means of becoming more efficient so that cases don't get bogged down unnecessarily, that people don't spend undue time in court and money in court. I will be efficient. I will move cases quickly, make sure that everyone gets a fair shake, but the being efficient is part of improvement.
All right.
Making sure that justice is done is the most important improvement.
So, to bring fairness, bring equality for providing service to everybody is the part that you're thinking about. Your term is protection.
Yes.
To protect people.
Yes.
People, the taxpayer people, right?
Yeah. Yes.
With a capital, the people that they deserve equal fairness.
Yes.
Right? And then by by improving their efficiency of the court services,
Yes.
of court procedures.
Yes.
You're talking. That's the part that's part of improving you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Do you have any examples, please?
Okay. A person such as yourself who doesn't go to court often, right? But let's say you find yourself in an unfortunate situation where you have to go to court. It is an intimidating process, right? It's big. You see bailiffs, you see people going into custody, you see a judge, a court reporter, witness stand. It is very intimidating. It shouldn't be intimidating. It should be the court system is there for people. If someone has to come back to court continuously, jurors, witnesses, victims, that leaves a sour taste in their mouth. I don't like.
You are right.
I'm not going to let that happen. We're going to be moving. People aren't going to make unnecessary trips to court. When they come to court, there's going to be a purpose, and it's going to be done.
So that's why I ask you to focus or emphasis on the improving part.
Yes.
I'll give you my own experiences. Back 2 years ago in October, one day I accidentally dropped a cigarette out a window, which is a brand new cigarette, the whole thing. I shouldn't just throw it out, right? There came the cop, and I explained. He says, well, explain in court, and there goes the ticket. Then I went to court. From that day to the court day, there was 2 months, right? And then in the court, I was there waiting for 2.5 hours to get assigned to whatever, right? And then finally there came the court day. There were 50-something of us there in the courtroom. There came the judge. Says that those of you want to plead guilty on the right-hand side, feel free to do so. Our jail's full. I'll be easy on you. Don't be afraid of me. And those afraid of you plead not guilty, remain. I cannot guarantee how long it can take. That's very misleading. I went the other way, right? I pled guilty. Because I'm thinking about, okay, anyway, you dropped something out, right? It is the public environment that you have to protect. You have a part to, and you failed it, and then you contaminate it. I thought, okay, for that part, I'm guilty, right? Okay, now. And then he started one by one with the guilty part, and on my side, he kind of the punishment, right? The sentence was $590, right? And it was 8 hours of community service, the whole thing. Overly charged, overly punished. And okay, now, in the process of doing the fee, in the process of doing the 8 hours, it took me altogether 4 visits. Each of the visits, 2.5 hours waiting in line. Do you think that's the part of the system? Forget I'm right or wrong. That need to be improved.
Yes, that's
including the judge has to not to lie, not to mislead people.
Yes, that's an example of inefficiency. That's a perfect example. And most people, when they go to traffic court, end up spending hours in line and in court and trying to take care of a simple ticket. That's not necessary, or it shouldn't be necessary.
Mm-hmm.
It is, people have lives, and they shouldn't be burdened unnecessarily to try to take care of one particular ticket.
Exactly.
I also would not encourage someone to plead guilty for the sake of efficiency. If somebody wants to plead not guilty and they want their day in court, then they're entitled to it.
I precisely remember the judge said, our jail's full, right? I will be easy on you, and feel free to do so. And for those who want to do innocent, not guilty, I cannot guarantee how long would that take. I got a job to do here. I have to come back. Let's play guilty, and get back home. like that kind, right?
No, I recognize that. That's almost encouraging you to plead guilty so that you can leave.
All right. My dear audience, is Jack Chow here, hosting on the East West Show, joined by a wonderful person and one of the very hopeful candidate for Los Angeles County Superior Court. You Angelenos want to make sure that you do not suffer what I suffer. Right? And that's why I recommend, I cast my vote now. I can advance my vote to you now because I like your style. At least you're not lying, right?
No.
Okay, now, with me, Mr. Javier Perez. He is running for that seat. Let's take a very short moment out. Oh my God, I'm not done even half.
Okay.
My dear folks, welcome back to the show, especially my dear fellow Angelenos. Welcome back to the show. It is a very important show because you are picking up one for the most important position that will make you, such as Jack Chow, myself, guilty or not guilty. Going home faster or going home 2 days later or something. Well, I don't think I deserved 8 hours of community service for something I dropped off the window. That's it, right? Anyway, I did it because I'm a good law-abiding citizen. When the law says so, I did it, right? I went ahead for it, no problem. I'm okay. Flip that page over. Back to the discussion. I told you and I promised in front of my audience I cast my vote on you.
Yes, you did.
Right? Oh, by the way, I'm not saying it that easy. I'm saying it with a big hope. Because lots of my audience buy me. They go the way I go.
Oh.
I don't lie though. I don't say, hey, go the other side to plead guilty so that you get home faster, right? I don't do that. Okay, I'm serious on this one. If my audiences are convinced after watching this interview though, and they decide to help you, to support you, to make sure that you won, by donating. So is there anywhere to go, please?
PerezForJudge.com is my website.
Perez for Judge. Letter 4 or number 4?
F-O-R.
F-O-R. Altogether.
Altogether, PerezForJudge.com. That's my website. It talks a little bit more about my history, who's endorsed me, who's supporting me, and there's a contribution link on there. So if you feel compelled to assist me in my endeavors, the website is available. I also encourage every person here on June 7th to cast their ballot. Every vote counts. That's on June 7th. That's the primary.
I cast it already. Okay. Name is Javier Perez.
Yes.
Right.
So Javier Perez, Superior Court Judge. I encourage you to vote. And if you feel inclined to support my campaign in other ways, you can also volunteer, providing your information on my website and contribute.
I see. Could be monetary, could be volunteer, right?
Well, either one.
I see. All right. Very good. So, of course, these days, people are kind of too much fed by the fast food, and even their habit of reading kind of a fast food kind. So if you ask them to go find the information, I would rather ask you to bring the information here yourself,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what's your endorsement? I know you have a list of a huge endorsement. Instead of my audience having to go to find out, I want you to say it, please.
I've been endorsed by Jackie Lacey, the district attorney, Jackie Lacey, the Honorable Steve Cooley, the retired district attorney, Zev Yaroslavsky, the retired out Los Angeles County supervisor. I have a mayor from Baldwin Park, Southgate, councilmen from El Monte, mayor of El Monte, many of the distinguished representatives, different organizations, the Associated Deputy District Attorneys, the Professional Peace Officers Association.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I've been endorsed by many different people. I've been endorsed by defense attorneys. I've been endorsed by over 40 judges who know me, who I've appeared in front of, who know that I would be an impartial, fair judge and an efficient judge. The Mexican American Bar Association, the Mexican American Bar Association Political Action Committee. I have a long list of people and organizations who support me.
Now you add Jack Chow on it.
I am going to. I will be adding that.
Jack Chow.
Yes, I will be adding
the
that.
most handsome guy of Los Angeles County, right? So like that kind. You can
Yes.
say that. All right. Well, I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy very much talking to you. I'm not done with the list, even 50%. I would want to go ahead. Let me see. I have two cases to ask you to exemplify. One is O.J. Simpson case.
Yes.
About of the early 90s, the last century.
Yes.
One is New York PD case. All right, New York PD former officer Peter Lang. Which will be the one that you feel more comfortable applying your concept, please?
Well, everyone knows about the O.J. Simpson case and has established their perspective as to what went wrong, what didn't go wrong in terms of the O.J. Simpson case. In terms of the other case in which you're speaking of, I believe that's the New York police officer who was tried in New York and is still awaiting sentencing. It would be difficult for me as a candidate for Superior Court judge to comment on an open pending case.
Very good, very good.
That would be improper.
Yeah. That means that you are not only running, you are running also with a very sober mind. Last night I went to Arcadia. At the door I was given a piece of paper, a pamphlet, accusing somebody else. All right. And the first question that came upon me is that moment of election is a moment of saying what I can. Isn't it? Doesn't it mean a moment of say, hey, you can't, like that? No, right? So, and I respect your take, and that is improper for you to say anything left or right about the case because it's still pending.
Yes.
Right? Pending. Now, back to the OJ case. As a DA, do you honestly believe that he didn't kill?
No. I was in the office when that case happened.
Oh, yeah, you were. All right, 25 years, right?
25 years. I was actually assigned to the Norwalk.
We just celebrated the 20th anniversary of the O.J. Simpson case.
Yes. I was assigned to the Norwalk office when that case was taking place. Our office would not have filed and prosecuted that case if we weren't convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that O.J. Simpson had committed those offenses.
All right.
A jury found something different, that the people had not proven, our office had not proven their case, but that doesn't mean that Mr. Simpson was innocent. It just means that the people didn't prove their case.
I see. So, does that also mean it's a part of a system that needs to be improved?
It means that we need the prosecuting team should have done a better job. That's what that means.
Good.
The system, although flawed, it does have flaws in it. It is the best system in the world, and I believe in the system.
You sound to be a very responsible person. Instead of blaming others, you're saying that it indicates that the DA has to do a better job. The prosecutor have to do the better job, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay.
And I'm a prosecutor.
I support you. I support you. I agree with you. And that reminds me of one interview with a friend of mine who had been the reporter from day one to day A to day Z of the O.J. Simpson case. I asked him at the very end, I said, do you really honestly believe that he wasn't guilty? And he said, well, I don't know. I can tell you this. I've seen many cases with less evidences that convicted.
Yeah.
And how about that as an answer? Right?
It does happen, right?
And starting right now, use your quote, if I may please, that indicates that the DA, the prosecutor, had to do a better job.
It you can say that. I said it. I mean, there were, I believe that they would look back and say they could have done different things in order to secure conviction.
All right, very good. Well, we're running over time, obviously.
Okay.
I wish there were more than 60 minutes in an hour. My dear audience, today I'm joined by, the pleasure is all mine, by Mr. Javier Perez, the candidate for Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge, and he is now holding the DA position. He is a deputy in charge of Los Angeles County DA office. And I believe firmly that this is not the first show. I even want to continue talking. Probably we should schedule for another time to finish my list of questions.
I'd be more than happy to come back.
Thank you for watching, my dear friends, and thank you for coming, and I wish you good luck.
No, thank you. It's been my pleasure. Thank you.